Nobody's born feeling good or bad about themselves. Nobody's born feeling insufficient. Nobody's born feeling unworthy. It's learned. Nobody's born believing themselves to be separate from God. Till someone says, there's a God up there, you see it? It's up there. It's not in here. It's not pre-existing in you, it's up there. Then you learn to be separate from God. But have you ever talked to a child before they've learned that? It's amazing sometimes, you know. If you don't tell a child what God is, if you get to them before someone tells them what God is, and you ask them what God is, they'll almost always tell you something about right inside themselves. You know? Oh, God is this sparkly thing that happens when I'm, walking in the sunset, and this sparkly thing just comes upon me, and I feel very alive and lovely and happy, and that's what God is. Right? It's like, the adult should be bowing. Yes, sweetheart, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. That's a sutra. Lovely. Wonderful. Wow. Amazing. Where did you come up with that, Oh no, honey, God's watching you. Oh, shit. And if you're nice, he likes you. And if he's not so nice, he's loving, but you might end up in eternal damnation. Forever. But he loves you. And that bright little glittery, radiant thing that they had, right before anybody told them anything, They had those moments of just that bright little radiant thing happening inside. They didn't even have a word for it, And all of a sudden, without even knowing it so innocently, they just start to move away from it because their authority tells them, no honey, that's not it, sweetheart. That's just a nice little tingly thing. That's not God, for God's sake. Let's read the book. That'll... We could do the same thing with, enlightenment. You could just go the Eastern route too. A kid could say, enlightenment, well, geez, sometimes I feel this lovely sense of, freedom. And one time I closed my eyes and I just completely disappeared, Mommy, and I just totally became nobody. I've had many people tell me stories like that when they did that as kids. I just went to bed at night, and when I'd close my eyes, I just totally disappear and I just become nobody. It's like, welcome to the Buddha's fundamental realization. Right there. Right there. And then someone comes in and says, no, sweetheart, enlightenment is this thing, you see. It's, you can walk through walls and this whole thing gets built up and they forget. Like, God, I guess I didn't disappear after all. I suddenly feel like I'm so present now. I got to become enlightened. Of course, some kids, I've had many people tell me, and kids, they did the same thing. One woman years ago told me this wonderful story. She used to just repeat her name until she started to disappear. And then she'd realize she wasn't her name. Just an innocent little child thing, I just repeat my name, and then all of a sudden I'd just start to disappear, and I'd realize I wasn't my name, and I didn't know who I was. And first it was amazing, and then I got spooked because I thought, oh no. Because she was told she was her name, right? And she was losing it. So she already had the programming, your name is da-da-da-da-da, and she's losing it, she's seeing that she's not that. And so she thinks, oh my God, Jesus, God, something terrible is going to happen, I got to reach back and grab my name, And then, but it was so compelling that, the next day she'd be saying her name again, and then disappearing. And that's very cool. And then getting spooked, and then doing it again the next day, you know? These natural impulses. Natural impulses. They often travel against the grain, don't they? Just against the grain, not in the sense of resisting the grain, but they just don't fit in with the belief systems we have. They're pre-belief, innate. Like I said, it's like almost like a force of nature. Like you don't have to believe in gravity; it's there anyway.